What kind of crazy person gives up their weekend to come and do something like this?
Okay, so imagine you have one weekend to launch a startup.
Not even a full weekend, 54 hours to come up with an idea that's going to change the world.
In a way that nobody has ever thought of before.
Friday night, you meet your team.
Probably people you've never met before.
Saturday, you work all day.
And then on Sunday, you better have a prototype ready because you're going to present to a panel of expert judges
who are ready to possibly tear you apart.
Who could legitimately make your idea your entire new career.
This could change your life.
That is what Startup Weekend is.
And this is an event that happens every weekend in multiple cities around the world. This is about one of them.
So on Friday night, we have a lot of people who are pitching for their very first time. They may not have ever done anything related to entrepreneurship. We have a lot of people very nervous. We basically just want them to structure their pitch in a 60-second format.
At that 60 seconds, no matter what you're saying and how important it is, everybody's gonna start clapping, and we will clap the person off the stage.
When I was standing in line, I still wasn't sure what idea to pitch.
I was extremely nervous going up there. In fact, I almost didn't pitch at all. You know, you just kind of have to face that fear and just do it.
So what I think motivates people to dedicate 54 hours of their weekend to come to Startup Weekend is to really test out whether the little idea or the desire for them to become an entrepreneur, if that kind of has a path, and to meet like-minded people. I think that's the biggest thing.
We give each participant 3 Post-it notes, and they use those 3 Post-it notes to vote for the favorite teams that they would want to be a part of.
I would go around, I put my votes, I come back, there was at least 10 votes on my thing. I'm like, whoa.
There's nothing more amazing than seeing a bunch of people stick Post-it notes voting for my idea, which I did not expect at all. All of those Post-its turned into like real people with a bunch of ideas that actually just wanted to make my idea work.
Hey guys, we are gonna be building a crowdfunding website for post-disaster relief efforts. I already have 2 developers, which is awesome.
The value of Startup Weekend is to give you that energy spurt to really start, to get that idea off the ground and start your startup.
So this idea came up because as a young kid in Lebanon, I had a grandpa who was in the hospital and he was dying from leukemia. And it was very difficult trying to find people to come donate platelets on a regular basis. Platelets having only a 5-day shelf life, so you always have to keep going out and trying to contact new people, trying to save the life of someone you love, just because there's no system that is good enough. So we're working on a concept to connect hospitals with people in the vicinity who have the same matching blood type needed within the hospital in cases of shortage or emergency. So it's a way to make the blood donation process more efficient.
Okay, so what are our needs though? We have a lot of research we need to do,
We
right?
have to identify the problem.
We have to identify the problem, define it.
On Friday, they were responsible for kind of doing a brain dump. Think of everything you could possibly do in this space, and then narrow it down to what we call an MVP, a minimum viable product.
So there's 2 sides to it, I think. There's the hospitals and there's the patients. And also hospitals have a pain point of finding and providing the blood, I guess.
It is Friday, July 31st, and it's probably a little past 10. Right now, all I feel is excitement. I hope I'm gonna get to sleep tonight. Well, last night I was so excited I almost could not sleep. It's now like a real tangible idea.
For Saturday, each one of the teams was responsible in working on customer validation. They basically need to validate that this is a real problem that potentially somebody would pay money for, or it would solve a huge social impact issue.
So we wanted to know more about the donation process, the blood donation process. So we wanted to experience hands-on what it meant to try to find a place to donate, go there, try to test the whole experience. We found a center of Red Cross in Oakland, and once we got there, it was very complicated. We just wasted like 2 hours and we couldn't donate. Like, it's crazy because if you have to do an appointment for every time, like, then you have to think in advance, and people, just when you add decision points for people, when they have to take a decision, take about time, it's never worked. All other centers are closed on a weekend. That's crazy.
And take into account that each donor, it takes like 45 minutes at least. If you notice, they were on paper, and this was like pretty manual process. It's like too much bureaucracy for doing something that it should be easy.
Well, it's exciting that we're at a startup weekend that's focused on tech for good. And I think where technology meets social entrepreneurship is in this idea of scaling change at a massive level.
The ability for technology to just touch so many people at such a rapid pace, it's much, much faster. And I think that if it's structured for something good and impactful, it can make a massive impact on the world in a very short amount of time.
Then we tried to talk to other donors. They told us about what got them to donate blood, and it was interesting.
What I got out of it, I felt like I was helping people. It just made me feel good to do something for the community. I felt good knowing that I would help people.
An event like this is really fun because it's kind of a low-risk environment to see what it's like to be in that startup mode, and it's compressed into 2 days. So you're just cranking and figuring out how you can do the most amount of work in such a small amount of time to actually have like a viable solution to a problem that you see in the world. I've identified a problem and a solution to that problem, but it's more than that. There's so much that goes into kind of picking apart, going through that onion. It's fun because you're learning.
It's my first event here, so I did not know what to expect, but I'm really having a good time. First I was thinking, oh my God, 54 hours, how would I, use this 54 hours?
Actually, my wife and my kid left to visit the parents, so I have free weekend. Why do not do this?
I came to the startup weekend because I feel like having the opportunity to be living in San Francisco, I wanted to take it to try to do my own thing and try to succeed.
So to help the teams on Saturday, we bring in coaches that basically do one-on-one coaching with each one of the teams.
Okay, so you're really limiting what you're trying to achieve, but do you think that by doing so you'll have a bigger impact on disaster relief? And if so, how?
Yeah, so we talked to a bunch of mentors. Sometimes it's been a little difficult. They bring up real concerns about, valid concerns about our business plan and our model. Right now, all I can say is that, we got a lot of feedback and we're in the process of pivoting or trying to make it work, right?
Usually my mentors come, they try to find the mistakes in your business plan, your idea.
I think for an entrepreneur, always thinking about how you can iterate, change, and adapt is huge, because if you become too married to one version of your idea, you might miss something of actually making a path to make your idea viable or sustainable.
If it was as easy as, everything's figured out and I just have to execute on it, everyone would be doing it and it wouldn't be special. I think what being an entrepreneur is so unique because you have to overcome problems and obstacles and find really creative solutions to the things that are in your way.
So now we're now going to conclude what the main problem is in blood donation, and then we're going to use that to try to find a creative solution to it. After we identified the key points we have to improve in the blood donation process, every team member tried to come up with a new idea to fit these criteria that we're trying to fix. Then we presented it to each other. Then we did a small voting process where the ideas we liked and are common between different ideas, we joined them together, and that's how we got to our solution to the blood donation process. So it's Saturday and it's around 7. We're pretty tired and we're hungry.
Today is Sunday.
I'm feeling good. Coffee is good.
I haven't gotten a lot of sleep.
Oh, we're feeling pretty good.
So on Sunday, hopefully they've already talked to their customers, they've already started creating their prototype, they know what their business model is going to be, and they're just finessing it. In the afternoon, we bring some of the coaches together to be able to do a pitch practice. They only will have 5 minutes tonight to get in everything that they've worked on for 54 hours.
What's going on right now?
What's happening?
What's happening?
We're about to pitch to a mentor, a lot of quick changes.
Hopefully get some great feedback as well so that we can iterate and be ready for the real thing in about 3 hours.
I'm excited about it.
Feeling pretty confident. We have a great guy who's presenting.
I am completing the pitch.
We have a lot of faith in him.
Yeah, so what we normally do, you guys, is I do something like time you for 5 minutes so that you know. The buzzer will go off. One of your team should actually be put a timer on so that you know if you go over or under. So can one person on the team volunteer? Okay, great.
Okay. 500,000. 500,000 is the number of people who donated right after the 9/11 terrorist attacks. 200,000 have stopped giving blood. So we wanted to know and find out why.
You started with the story. You built a story. I think that's fantastic. So all of that story was very clear and very sexy too for the amount of time that you had. Very sexy presentation, yeah?
Ditto, as we like to say. But I didn't understand, I'm not sure I understand the business model.
Right.
That there was like these big audacious goals and achievements, and you're talking about adding expenses that really haven't been worked out, like this whole Uber thing back and forth.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like you're adding a lot of cost to something that doesn't have them normally.
Okay.
And so I'm wondering, how are you really going to make this effective? It's not just about the money that you make. We want you to put some of the data pieces you've found together so that you can have a North Star and say, hey, we think within a year we can have $900,000. We also think that means we can save X number of lives. It is a good thing what you're doing.
Yes.
And you're doing it for a reason.
For a social entrepreneur, I think there's really a need to be able to focus, because you're looking at so many variables. Like, you're looking at a business model, you're looking at impact and measuring impact. So to be able to focus on kind of why you started whatever you started, that's one of the things that I think is really valuable.
All right, guys. Just so we can decide what to do before I'm gonna change the presentation of the demo.
So we need to work on the business model and the ending.
Yeah.
Big applause for all the participants for what you accomplished this weekend. And let's kick it off with Donator.
Now we bring together an array of judges from many different backgrounds to be able to give lots of different perspectives and ask all of our participants the hard-hitting questions that an investor would potentially ask them if they were to pursue investment. After all of the presentations are done tonight, the judges will lock themselves in a room for deliberation of the winning teams based on the 4 judging criteria of social impact, execution, customer validation, and business model.
We now have Team Bluebird. Woo!
And so here we have Bluebird. We connect blood banks to nearby potential donors with highly demanded blood types in real time. Make an account, and then here it will connect you to the particular blood bank that needs your type of blood. And it also helps with scheduling to make it convenient for you. And it says, we need you, you're special, you're really making a difference, and I think people need to know that. So here's our value proposition. It costs around $7 each time they make a call to a donor. If you do, say, sign up with an SMS, it's 5 cents.
Why was this created?
So the story is, I'm from Lebanon, and in Lebanon, it's a developing country, so people don't donate much. So if someone has to go into surgery, the family of the patient has to provide replacement blood. It's a replacement donation call. And in my case, it was my grandpa who was dying from leukemia. And I saw the struggle of my parents. They would have to literally beg people and pay up to $300 per bag of platelets so we could save my grandpa's life. And unfortunately, we couldn't sustain it for too long. I think we have a good chance, but I think the challenge is to see who was able to show that they were more passionate about their project.
Any of y'all know each other before?
No,
none of us.
But after 2 days, it feels like we've known each other for a long time. Like
It's a team.
Yeah. It's more like a family.
Yeah, I think so.
This is only the beginning, and I feel like it's a shame not to take it forward, and I think we're about to get the results.
Now, what you've all been waiting for, I'm going to have the judges come up and announce the results.
You're all stars. However, we'd like to go ahead and mention the group in the first place. We have chosen Bluebird.
It was amazing. It was an amazing feeling.
I didn't sleep so much.
I slept 2 hours now.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep.
Now I'm just going to turn on the TV, watch my DVR of Jeopardy, and go to bed. But I'm so excited. I'm just like, what? Who knew what this can turn into? So it was a great experience.
The structure for this type of weekend is really perfect for people to go out and test their boundaries and test their minds and really expand beyond what they would be doing any other day.
Startup weekend and hackathons and social good meetup kind of events are really great and safe spaces to get started in your entrepreneurial journey, because you're meeting people who also don't know where they fit into the space. And it's a very comfortable place to be really open about that and say, I don't know where I fit in, but I want to be somewhere in this ecosystem.
I'm really grateful that Startup Weekend exists and that it allows all of us who want to give our time and energy to good projects this venue to do so.
You know, at the end of the day, you may, after the weekend, go back to your job and be totally happy, but you would have met all these people. You would have a new skill set. You would maybe have learned something about yourself that you can take back into whatever your world is outside of this. And I think that's what is really empowering, and that's something you can walk away with.
Just pitch your idea. You're gonna be scared, especially if you've never done something like this before, but you just have to face that. You know, you'll never know if it can work out unless you try.